The Prime Minister arrived in Shanghai with news that he had persuaded the Chinese to lift their sanctions on a number of MPs and lords who'd been critical of the regime here. And when we spoke, he said he hoped the Chinese president would now come to the UK next year.
I raised it on this visit, and the response from the Chinese is that the restrictions no longer apply. As for President Xi coming to the UK, we are hosting the G20 meeting in 2027. China is a G20 country, and I do hope that he's able to attend.
He also said a cut to tariffs on British whisky would come into effect on Monday. It's all part of a trip the Prime Minister believes has gone well, although Donald Trump takes a different view. Listen to his answer to this question.
Mr. President, what do you think about the UK getting into business with China? Keir Starmer was in Beijing.
Well, it's very dangerous for them to do that, and it's even more dangerous, I think, for Canada to get into business with China.
President Trump has said it's very dangerous for you to be doing business with China. Is he right?
I've looked at the clip from President Trump, and I think it's fair to say he was focused more on Canada than the United Kingdom.
But he was responding to a question about the UK.
No, I appreciate that. I mean, as you would expect between two close allies, the US and the UK, we discussed this with his team before the visit, and I think I'm right in saying that President Trump is expected to visit China himself in April.
Do you believe President Trump when he says things like this? Because he blows hot and cold. He can change his mind in the middle of a sentence.
I talk to the President all the time. We understand each other.
At home, the Prime Minister is struggling in the polls, of course, and some Labour-affiliated unions have suggested that he should quit if May's local elections go badly.
If you do become a drag on your party's chances of staying in government after the election, would you consider that?
We won an election in 2024 with a huge mandate for change. I led us into that election, and I intend to deliver on that mandate. I'll be judged in the next election on whether we've delivered the change that the country wants and, frankly, deserves.
So you're sticking around?
I'm going to see through the mandate that we won in 2024.
Finally, on a lighter note, Prime Minister, one of the biggest Chinese exports to the UK is the labubu. Are you familiar with the labubu?
I am familiar, and in fact, I've got a little one for myself.
You've got one?
I've got one, yes. I don't think it'll last long with my children.
In case you don't know, the labubu is a wildly popular Chinese doll. Its makers say it's a character who wants to help, but unwittingly does the opposite. There may be those in the Labour Party who think that sounds familiar. Carl Dinnan, News at 10, Shanghai.
Well, let's speak to Debbie, who's in Beijing for us tomorrow. And Debbie, the Prime Minister moves on from China tomorrow, and I guess that Britain isn't alone when it comes to rebuilding relationships with Beijing, not least because of an unpredictable Donald Trump in the White House.
No, we are not, Gamal, and it is to some extent because of Donald Trump's trade tariffs and the market uncertainty and economic hurt that they have created that have made the British Prime Minister and others seek to bolster their ties with the world's second largest economy. Spain, France, Ireland, Canada, they've all been here making deals of their own in recent weeks and months, and the German Chancellor is coming to Beijing at the end of February. So the contrast being painted here that is while the US President has been spending his January attacking Venezuela, talking up his claims on Greenland and threatening military action against Iran, the Chinese President has been here greeting guests at the Great Hall of the People and presenting himself as a more stable and predictable superpower. An astonishing 70% of the world's economies now trade more with China than they do with the US. Almost 60 countries have China as their top trading partner. So just think about the power and influence that comes with those trade relations in Africa, South America, the Middle East, and here in Asia. Donald Trump has said to the Prime Minister that it's dangerous to come here to do business, but Keir Starmer has argued that from a strategic and economic standpoint, it's dangerous to ignore China, and it's for those very same reasons that Donald Trump is actually coming here to Beijing in April.